everyone and welcome. In today's video, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be doing my very first Q&A. So I asked you all on Snapchat a few weeks back to just send me your questions, anything that you had, just send it to me and that I would be answering it in a future video, and this here is that video. So I've compiled a list of all of the questions that I was asked, or pretty much all of them, and I will be answering them for you all today. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so the question that I think I was asked, or one of the questions that I was asked the most was, how old am I? I think that a lot of people just kind of assume that I'm really, really young. I've always had that where people just assume that I'm really young based on what I look like. And then when I tell them that I have 2 kids, they're like, wait, how old are you? And then I'm married, they're like, I don't know. So yeah, I get that a lot. So I'm not really surprised that that question came up. I was kind of expecting it, to be quite honest. And I am 31 years old. I am 31 years old. I am an Aries, born in '85. So there's that answer. So the next question is, are you married? Which I guess I kind of just answered. And if so, how long have you been married? So yes, I am very happily married, and I've been married now for 4 wonderful, wonderful years, and they've literally just flown by. I don't know where the time goes, where it's gone. But yeah, 4 years. And we've been together a total of 7 years. So 7 wonderful years with my husband, for which we have been married for. So the next question is, any children? If so, how many? And yes, I have 2 beautiful children. I have a daughter who's 5 and a son who's getting ready to turn 2 years old here in about a month and a half. So, I mean, transitioning from having a girl to having a boy has been very, 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 and I don't want to say tough because it hasn't been tough, but it's been very tiring. My boy is the quintessential boy. He runs, he jumps, he climbs, he gets hurt. He's just very, very, very active. So he's always on the run, always wanting to do something. I always have to find, you know, some sort of new activity in order to keep him nice and entertained and for that energy to kind of like run its course throughout the day. So that keeps me very, very occupied. And my daughter also keeps me occupied. You know, she wants to play, she wants to read because she's learning how to read now, and she wants to do, you know, draw. She wants me to help her with her homework. So my plate is quite full when it comes to my day-to-day life with my children, but I can't see it being any other way. And I also have a furry child, which I'm sure if you follow me on Snapchat, you've seen him. His name's Riddick. He's always by my side. I love this little dog. And yeah, so altogether, 3 children. I consider him a child. Okay, next question. And this is another one that I get asked pretty regularly. And that is, what's my nationality and or ethnicity? So I get confused with a lot of different nationalities, a few different ethnicities, but truth is that I am Mexican, born in Mexico, Guadalajara, Jalisco to be exact, and yeah, so Hispanic. So next question is, do you speak any other language? And of course, yes, I speak Spanish fluently. There are certain things that I'll forget here and there. I mean, I think that it's with anything, if you don't use it on a regular basis, you're gonna kind of somewhat forget certain things, but since my husband doesn't speak Spanish, I can't use Spanish on a regular basis. So that's why sometimes I'll forget certain things. I'm not saying like, oh, I completely forgotten how to speak Spanish and I just don't remember sometimes. No, absolutely not. When I want to speak Spanish, I speak Spanish. But it's just certain things that I'll want to say and then I won't remember the name for it or the word for it, and that gets kind of frustrating. So when that happens, I'm definitely calling home. I'm calling my mom all the time and I'm wanting her to have Spanish only conversations with me, like nothing else, because I don't ever want to lose that. I'm trying to get my children to learn it as well. My daughter's really picked up an interest in wanting to really learn Spanish, and so I'm trying to have conversations with her so that she picks it up. I don't want the language to get lost after me with my children. I want them to know it. And so yeah, I speak Spanish. I'm trying to teach it to my children, and yeah. Okay, so the next question is, what made me decide to start a YouTube channel? And a couple of friends made me decide to start a YouTube channel, but one thing that no one really knows, pretty much no one knows except for my husband and my mom and my sister, like close friends like that or close family members is that I actually had already started a YouTube channel back in like 2012, 2013, I think. I had started a YouTube channel very just, I was posting videos like once in a great while, and they were just kind of like tutorial type videos. I didn't really know what I was doing. I was first starting to edit, and I really didn't know what I was doing with editing or anything like that. Lighting was like non-existent. I was using daytime lighting, and so, you know, it was just like a normal new YouTuber. I was trying to figure it out all on my own. But at that time, I was working full-time. I was working for a bank full-time. Sometimes I would work 12-hour days, and I'd come home exhausted, and I was ready for the weekend to just absolutely do nothing. So I wasn't very consistent in like posting videos or keeping up with it or anything like that. And then once we moved away from home all the way over here to the East Coast, it became kind of impossible, especially once I became pregnant. I was always sick. The first trimester was kind of hard for me. I was sick all of the time, and so I really didn't have the time for it. I didn't have time to like really sit down and film anything, and so I just completely deactivated it. I deleted that channel. It was called the exact same as it is now, so it was still All Beauty by Sarah, but I just deleted all of those videos. I deleted the channel. I really wasn't looking to start it up again, but then a couple of my friends from back home, you guys know who you are, Claudia and Caitlin. I love you girls. I miss you girls so much. But they were the ones that encouraged me to start it. If you were to start a channel, I'd totally watch. And then I was doing a blog. I was blogging, kind of just playing with makeup because I've always liked to play with makeup, but I hadn't really thought about doing YouTube again. But I was doing it on my blog. So I was doing pictorials on my blog, and they both loved the pictorials. They both loved the looks that I would come up with. And so because of them and because of my sister, I decided to go ahead and get the channel up and start it up again. And this time I was a little bit better prepared because I had already had the lighting, I already had the camera, I already had pretty much everything, and I had the time. So I had the time, I had the equipment, and I just decided to go ahead and go full swing with it. And so here I am a little bit over a year later, and I'm so happy with the little community that I've gathered here on YouTube. So thankful and so grateful for every single one of you. You have no idea. You really have made it to where I don't feel as lonely anymore. There was a point in time there where I was practically begging my husband for us to just move back home to friends and family because it is so hard. I mean, it's not to say that I don't have acquaintances or, you know, some friendly people that I know here in the South, but it's just different. You know, the relationships and the friendships that I've built back home, they're just longer, and we just know each other, and I just get them and they get me, and my family's there. So it was really tough to be away from all of that. And to be away from all of that for so long, my family and I were all very close and tight-knit. We are in each other's business like all of the time. We're that kind of family. And so it was really hard to leave them behind and to move here. But my channel, YouTube Corner, it has made it a little bit easier because I get to interact with different people, and I get to just kind of feel like I'm not as alone. I mean, not to say that I am a lonely person, but sometimes, you know, when I'm a stay-at-home mom and it gets a little bit redundant, like the day just gets, they all kind of blend together. So doing this has given me like a little hobby that is all mine, and it's my baby, and a little community that I get to interact with and talk to and, you know, Snapchat back and forth. And it's been nice. And I still miss home. I still really miss everyone back home, and I would love to move back home sometime, but it makes it to where it's not as hard to be so far away. Does that make sense? I mean, I know I went like kind of really deep there, but it's true. I hope it all makes sense. And I know it's kind of deep, but you know, what can I say? I had to answer it that way. Okay, so this next question's pretty fun. What country would you like to visit the most? And it's funny, believe it or not, my husband and I were talking about this last night, and we were just we were watching a series on Netflix that's based out of New Zealand, and that got us to thinking like, oh man, that looks so cool. Look at all that scenery. Like, that'd be so cool to visit. But what country would we really want to visit? Like, the first big trip that we can take as a family when the kids are old enough to not only, you know, endure the long flight that I'm sure is going to happen, but also, you know, old enough to remember and make those memories, where would we go? And I immediately thought of Australia. I would love to visit Australia just because it's so vast and it's the country and a continent all in one, and there's just so many different places to go. There are the beaches, and then there's just, I don't know. It's always called out to me. Australia, Sydney in particular. I would love to visit Sydney, Australia, and just to say it's a bucket list item. So that's where I would love to go. Okay, and favorite makeup brand. This one, I don't even know if I could really answer because there are just so many different things from brands that I like. And then there are so many, not so many, but then there are things within that same brand that I don't like. So, you know, like the Tarte brand, I love the Shape Tape concealer, but I wasn't a really big fan of the other concealer. I forget the name, Maracu something. I wasn't a big fan of that, and that's all within the same brand. But then there was also the Tartelette and Bloom palette. I love the palette. Anastasia, Beverly Hills. I love the Brow Wiz. I love the pomade. I love the brow gel. Anything that have to do with the brows, I love from her. I love her eyeshadows. But I'm not a really big fan of like her liquid lipsticks. Like, I just don't like, I don't like the liquid lipsticks really. So yeah, I don't know. That's a hard one. I don't think I can answer that one. I'm so sorry. I can't. Okay, product that you can't live without. I would have to say that the product that I definitely cannot live without, like if I'm just going to be running errands and I want to kind of like, you know, spice it up just a tad, like a tiny, tiny bit, it would be mascara. Like, I just, you know, I don't know. I feel different with mascara. I could have nothing underneath the eyes. I could have nothing on my eyelids, nothing on my lips, nothing anywhere else. But if I have a little bit of mascara on, I'm like, I feel like a different person. And I don't know if it's because I just feel like I'm a little bit more awake because my lashes are a little bit wider, or because, I don't know, I just feel a little bit more girly with my mascara on. But mascara is the product that I would say I have to use. If nothing else, mascara, it'll save the day for me. All right, and that was the last question. So thank you all so much for sending those in. I hope that I was able to answer your question, and I hope that now you feel like you know me a little bit better. I know that I love watching Q&As from people that I subscribe to because, I don't know, I feel like I get to know them on a different level and that I'm able to perhaps relate to them as well. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed this first Q&A of mine. As always, take care, and I will see you all in my next video. Mwah! Bye.